Get out, go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then do a pan of the audience. Ready? Okay, so how was that delicious meal by my lovely wife, Aunt Shetty? So as you can tell, I'm a blessed man. She cooks like this for me all the time, so really blessed. She's an amazing wife, and she's taking care of the kids today, so she couldn't come out, but she helped prepare the food, and my mom delivered it, so this is a family affair, you know?
Thanks, Mom!
Thanks, Mom!
So next up we have a social media expert. So as you can see, we're trying to get experts to talk about different parts of blogging. We had our expert on branding and blog design, now we have expert on social media, expert on email marketing, SEO, and finally an expert on video blogging.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure you take lots of notes, and I want to keep reminding you of the Twitter contest. Has everybody been tweeting?
So long to write all the notes and to...
You've been tweeting, so it looks like you're going to get the grand prize of 5 consultations. So remember, what do you need to use for the hashtag? Yes, blog mastery. And all you need to do is, like when someone's speaking like David, you can maybe have a key takeaway and you just tweet that out. It helps us, obviously, just create like an online presence. Helps the speaker, get some awareness of him. And you can walk away with 5 consultations. So start tweeting. Awesome. Okay, so I want to introduce us to my friend David Dyer. I've known him for about a year plus online, but I only met him like a couple months ago. He's going to share a little bit of the story of how we met. And he's taken this course with Web Friendly to be a social media director. So he does social media management and directing for different companies. And I see him online, and he's really figured out Facebook really well and the other social media platforms. So who here wants to learn about social media? David Dyer.
Okay, so as Rick said, my name is Dave Dyer. I'm a social media director. And what I do is I consult with different companies and people like yourselves that are working in building your blogs. And what I've done is I've actually switched over from like Nadine with email marketing and everything, which I wasn't getting a groove on and everything, and connecting was more of my thing and building relationships with people. So I've gone from iMarket resources to now I'm branding into social visual. If I'm going too fast or if I'm a little nervous, because today is the first time I've ever done presenting.
Louder.
Now, as Ricky said, what I found when I was always on Facebook and everything like that, I was actually connecting and building relationships with people more than actually doing my online business part. And I switched over from that, and it was all about building relationships. I'm jumping ahead here. So what is social media marketing? In simple, it's basically about getting traffic to your blog and or your website through using social media such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, G+, Pinterest, Vine, all the others that are out there. There's so many, it's crazy. Now, with Facebook in particular, you want to build content posts such as with your blogs. You want to target that market, such as Ricky does very well with Hattie Blogger. Every time he has a new article or a new event going on or he's doing a car review, you always see him posting on Facebook and Twitter and telling people, this is what I'm doing. And he's building relationships. And how I actually got involved with Ricky was through another mutual friend of ours, Rob the Genie Toll. Everybody? Anybody? No? Okay, there's a few here. Anyway, I connected with Rob the same way is through Facebook. He was offering a course and training on how to do IM marketing and everything, which I switched over, and then I ended up meeting Matt Astafan, because I don't know what Matt Astafan. But I connected with Matt, and then through all that, basically the same way through Facebook. And then I noticed with the one course that Matt was teaching, which was Facebook for Brands, where my social media content started going. And then I took that course, and I noticed before I even took the course, Ricky was there and he did a testimonial. And what I did was I went in and I searched on Facebook, I looked up Ricky, I connected with him, I asked him, hey, how's it going? What did you get out of the course? So he got back to me, we befriended each other, and then just kept going from there. Now, it's been just over a year, but in reality, we met, what, 5 months ago, first time in person at the Canada Marketing Summit. And then there was another event that that just came around 2 weeks ago now, and that was the Millionaire Wealth Project. And me and Ricky connected back again and discovered who was going, and I said, okay, we'll look it up, we'll do all that. And just build from there. And now, from the lunch at that meeting 2 weeks ago, me and Ricky went for lunch at Tim Hortons, and he basically asked me straight out at lunch while I was in the middle of taking a bite of my sandwich, do I want to speak today? I was floored. Here I am now, because you have to take action. You want to connect with people the best that you can. And same with Nadine, just out of nowhere, just through mutual friends, we connected. I believe Nadine touched base with me first on a post or something through Facebook, and then we just connected from there. And I've actually gotten together with Nadine, and we're discussing on getting together and working on a project that he's putting together in the next couple of months. Now, how do you engage your followers and gain their trust and authority in your own niche? What you do is on Facebook, you want to always be connecting every 48 hours. The reason for that is you need to keep people engaged. You need them to get onto your profile site, not your profile site, but your business brand page. Now, there's a difference. Same thing with posting on Twitter. You want to do it 2 or 3 times a week. You want to keep engaging with people, and then always having a call to action to go to your blog, like Ricky does. Every day, you can see a post that Ricky does. It doesn't matter. The last thing he wants you to do is leave Facebook or Twitter without going to his blog. That's the key thing. Or your website, or one of your other websites. But even if it's just a small thing, oh, I'm doing a car review. Well, that's attracting your attention and making you want to go to his blog. And then when you're on your blog, there's so much more content there that's value-driven, and that's what you guys need to do on your own blogs. Is concentrating on doing that. Always giving people value. Of course, there's a right way, and I kind of screwed up my slide here, but creating your brand and your profiles across all your networks so that they look the same. One, you don't want all your different social media pages with different branding. You want it to be consistent, straight across. So when people go, okay, oh, there's the face. Because, you know, I've known many of you guys through social media, and you're like, oh, it's fake. Why? Because I have my one, which will be coming up here. I use professional headshots, sorry, I glossed over. You don't want to use a logo, you want to use a clear headshot at all times on your profile page. You want to be consistent across all your networks also. The first thing that comes to mind when you have a logo on page, what are they selling? That's the worst thing. Now, certain pages, I noticed that he uses some logo on his brand, but that's because it's brand specific, and it works for what he's doing for his company. On his other networks, I believe he does use a headshot. And you just kind of see my pretty little face down there with a gold star, because that's perfect how you want to do it. You don't really want it to be noisy in the background, because it takes people's attention away from your face. Here's a couple examples. These are all clients of mine. This is actually my late father-in-law. He passed away in the last few months, which is good. It's a long, happy life. He was a master pinstriper. So he was always at all of our show events, and everything he did was always contacting people and connecting in the way. And number one, that's the clients of mine that are actually in Tofino. They run Sea Star Beach retreats. And the reason I did their shot like this, their profile pic, I mean, with the house in the background, I actually cut out. I got into Adobe and figured out how to take out the background and everything, and then superimpose them on top of their building that they use, which is actually like a bed and breakfast, but it's more like a home on away from home. And they rent like suites. They're 300 steps to one of the best beaches in the world. So I did that because you get confusing because it's a Sea Star Beach retreat, and that's what their whole profile and their whole page is about that I run. When I'm just working on getting them working on advertising for them, so when I to do that, it can get kind of confusing because if you're running a business, you understand how it's kind of confusing where it's even though it's a business for their bed and breakfast, you still want that public profile of them. So when you go there, you know who they are. Actually, here's Peter Petrello. Anyways, I was doing posts for his burger restaurant, Texas Burger in Surrey, and I was putting on these monster burgers and all this stuff, and you know, keep the content going on the page that I built for them. And I'm getting more engagement on the page that I built for them instead of the one that they're doing. Every time you go on their page, all you see is a big picture of a burger or somebody sitting busting it. So I've been trying to get more customers engaged by putting out value content posts and getting them to come in. What happened with that was one day Ricky went, hey, that place looks really good and I'll be in Surrey, I'm just speaking at an event. Why don't I come by and do a review for Daddy Blogger? And we went one day and we met up with Peter. He did an awesome interview with him, as he does with all dads, and we spoke about business and how he keeps it at the family life at the same time. And I spoke about my late father there. Now, you can read that. Look at you. You what? You what? Okay, well, do that. When you're posting on social media networks, your goal is to capture followers' attention at all times, as I mentioned. You want to do this by writing awesome content that has value. You want people to always, you want to be always giving more value to anyone who comes on. That way they're more engaged, they want to keep coming back, they want to keep learning about what you're doing and what's going on, what's the next special event. You also want to engage with a photo image, because photos are really hot online, on social media. They just grab, say, with like Ricky again, with his car review. He doesn't just put, oh, I'm doing a car review, and then there it goes, it's just a bunch of text, it's not engaging. So you want to bring in a photo, an image of people I know are engaging or even more images on what you're speaking about. And you want a big call to action at all times, like I mentioned, so that they end up going back to your main source, which is what you want for you guys to go on your blogs. You want them to go back so that you get them reading your articles or reading what your content is. You always want them going back to your blog on every post that you get, so that you keep getting that readership. And so always reply to every comment on Facebook and Twitter. Even if they just said, hey, I just like your picture. That's it. Go in there and say, hey, so-and-so. You have to search them out, figure out their name, tag them, and thank them for doing that. Because it brings them back, it sends them an automatic notification on their page. And then you can continue the discussion and keep building. The same thing with Twitter. Now, wow, I got really fast and I almost got to the end of there, Ricky. So, advertising on Facebook and Twitter, it's really up to you whether you want to do it or not. But you have to get to a certain level to start doing your advertisements. You want to bring, like, it comes back to always wanting people to come and stay on your blog. With your posts on Facebook, when you're creating your ads, on Facebook, you want to once again have a clean image of yourself. Images, cats, dogs, food, and buildings and stuff like that. They don't really convert very well, it's been shown. And you don't get click-through rates that you want. If you're using an image such as yourself, where you also want to add a frame to your image, more eye-grabbing. Red usually works the best. It stands out and followers pay attention. And they can, when you guys are on your social media sites or like Facebook, you know that if the ad is over in the corner, the news feed's kind of here and there, and it's a little jumbled at times. But you have that ad with a red rectangle around it. Sorry. You want to create 4 ads and do all your split testing with the same content. This way you can tell on your, when you get into the analytics and reading your kind of demographics and everything on Facebook, you can figure out which ads are converting better and going from there. Like I said, you want to see the difference between the images. Which one would grab you more on, say, your Facebook page?
The one with the border.
Yeah, of course. It's just too plain. It doesn't matter what image you're using, but for like I said, you don't want to use cats and dogs and stuff like that, especially if you want to whatever your blog is about. You want to go with the content and what picture or image you want. Usually you want it to be just yourself. Now, you have to have a catchy headline that draws in the clicks. And when you're doing your ads, it's come down to, I've been following a few different guys that do more pay-per-click and everything like that on Facebook. And this is the one headline that seems to work the best. So if you're doing a blog on health, or like Brady Daddy Blogger, or gymnastics, yoga, it doesn't really matter. You want to put, do you like yoga? You have a nice picture of yourself in the gym or whichever, you know, nice border around it. And then like this, and that's it. That's your call to action.
Where do you put that?
Within the app. You have to go into Facebook Ad Creator and do it all. You know, you can go into all that because it's really, really complicated.
Oh, great.
It's more, that would be something where I would talk to you guys on the phone about, and we would sit down and do the hour consult on everything on that, because to actually get in and teach you how to do all the ads, and you don't really have to go through and set everything up in this environment right now. Now, it's recommended that you start with a small budget. About, you need to start about $50 a week, and you spread it out. You do your Monday to Friday. It depends, and I'll explain it a little bit in my next slide. Your goal is to build up your followership through your ads because you want them just to like it. All you want, you just want them to click the like. Okay, I like your page, and you keep building up with them on that. And then once you have over 50 followers, you can start monitoring your demographics and targeting your market more directly, and then get them to click through your blog. Here's a few examples of client my Sea Star Beach Retreat in Tofino. You can see in the back or in green. When I'm looking, I don't know, okay, this shows me the different age group and what my specific demographic is and who I want to target when I'm creating ads so that I'm hitting that age group of people, whether it's men or women. And as you can see here, I'm looking at the best age group for me for targeting my ads would be the 35 to 44 range, but it's almost averaged across at about 11 to 14%. And really my age demographic is 25 to 64. Now, I can't see the bottom one there, but for the men, it's the same. And yeah, 45 to 54 once again. Now your weekly average posts is what this graph is about. And this tells me the best time of day and what days are the best to post on. Now, you go across with all my posts, and okay, 104 to 104 from Sunday to Saturday on an average. And my highest is Wednesday at 106. When I actually looked into it, I couldn't get the Photoshop, the screenshot to work, but actually Thursday was the best day. And it was really kind of weird because it just shows it on average. But it looks at best times during the day were just before work, say about 8:30, noon. Of course, everyone's on Facebook at noon. You're doing their lunch, and then once again around coffee time, 3 o'clock, and then actually on Thursday and everything, it was really high on about 6 o'clock, which got me, it was really interesting. So I'm going to go back and redo some ads for them on my own, and I'm pretty much at the end of my discussion. I blew through it, which I knew I kind of would. Sorry to repeat. Okay, and social vision, and now reason I came up with social vision with building relationships. Everyone has a phone. What's everyone doing nowadays? This is it. My niece and nephew, I look after them during the week, during the day. And they'll come down from their bedrooms. Jamming is everything, especially now it's summer. Evan's got his headphones on. He's already in. He's already talking to his buddies on Skype. What are we doing? What's going on? Playing a game, whatever. Constant. My niece, same thing, but it's YouTube. Constant. Got the headphones on. 8 o'clock in the morning. So, when I was thinking of a new brand, because I went to my market resources and it doesn't work with the social media. I was going and I said, oh, okay, well, I'm social media director. I'm trying to think of, what's his name, Dave? At Canada Marketing Summit, the guy that did the 2-sentence,
Yes.
right?
I think it was
Dave Henson or something. Anyways,
Dale.
Dale. He drove into us that you need to be able to not do the elevator speech of 30 seconds and you want your message to come across right away. So as a social media director, I was thinking, well, socialmediadirector.com, socialbroker.com, and started brainstorming, and then my nieces and nephews just walked by the tree things, and I was like, they're looking in a window. It's like vision. So I put social vision together, and that's what I've come up with, and that's where I'm going to go from there. And with Dale, what he instilled in me too was the 2-sentence thing. So when somebody asks me, what is it I do? I go, I'm a social media director. Okay, well, kind of leads you into a big sentence of what I do. So I drilled it down to, I'm your social media director. I take a brand boot camp and I blow it up across the world. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. You guys have any questions for me?
What's your view on scheduled tweets?
With scheduled tweets, actually, thanks for bringing that up, because I kind of jumped over that. With Twitter, because you want to do 2 or 3 posts a day, there are different softwares you can use. I believe TweetDeck is the one. You actually use MiniDeck, it's called, and what you do is you go in and you actually do schedule all your tweets for, say, the whole week, and you can go in and do it. What they'll do with MiniDeck is it actually figures out, because you sync your Twitter account to it, it figures out what are the best times that your posts have been going through, so you don't even have to do that. You just punch in, oh, here's my tweet, you call to action, bam, it's done. The next one, and it puts it on the time, that's the best time of day of that day. And you can go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it will automatically set it all up for you, and then you just walk away. So you're not actually tweeting 3 times a day and oh.
But then how does that reflect, what's the textbook answer then to reply? So if you tweet something at 1 o'clock and you're not back on till 3, is that the proper etiquette?
Well, everyone's busy.
Yeah.
And you come on, you have a schedule for yourself. So say, okay, 12 o'clock. I go in and I check out my tweets. Okay, I got 3 replies. So you reply back. You can also use, there's another autoresponder for Twitter now. Do you know what it is, Grace?
No, I had another question.
There is another software, I'm trying to think of it, but I can't.
Hootsuite?
Well, Hootsuite does the same thing, where it handles all your social media, different profiles, and with Hootsuite, what they do is their software is built so if you have multiple accounts. Right now, I run 3, so I'm just building myself. Now, once I get 4 or 5 or 6 or 10, then you can use something like Hootsuite because they keep everything connected and it's all there for you.
Buffer?
Pardon?
Buffer.
Buffer? I've heard Buffer too. I haven't looked into it at
It's
all.
like a mini Hootsuite.
Like a mini Hootsuite? Okay. Now, the AutoDN or something it's called. And what it does is every time somebody follows you, it automatically sends them a message, and you construct your message so it's personal. You don't use the auto. Hey, thanks for following me.
Is it auto direct message?
Auto direct message?
Is that what you mean?
That sounds like it, yes. So with that, you want to keep it personal. Just like with LinkedIn, they have their automatic response, or, oh, I want to connect with you. Oh, please connect. Everyone just goes, delete. Don't even, because there's no engagement. It's just their standard. So when you go into your LinkedIn profile, you go in and you set up that autoresponder, or when you're connecting with somebody, so that's it's personalized, and then say with Ricky or yourself, then you're more likely to respond back to me with, especially if I'm engaging you in what you're doing and what your business is about or what your blog is about. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay, so I read a couple of studies where they found that if you schedule something that people are less likely to engage in, how have you dealt with that? Or have you found that to be true when you schedule tweets and Facebook messages, things like that?
With actually, for myself so far, I'm still learning it too.
Right.
So it depends how many followers you have too, right? Like with Ricky, you said how many followers you got?
20,000.
Okay, so he doesn't have the time to.
I actually don't use scheduled tweets, by the way. I find it better to do the personal engagement.
Yeah.
So I don't like doing auto responding.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah.
You know, I live
Well, everyone's got their
in-
own way of doing it, right? Now, for myself, because I'm learning how to do it that way with for myself, because my whole thing is to get people to come to my site, go to my landing page, get on my email list. That's my main concern right now. But I have to be engaging and you guys to drop in, and I'm looking forward to maybe even talk on email marketing because I miserably failed. I got a whole 29 person list. I'm looking at like 50,000, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll be able to ramp me up a little bit. So is there any other questions?
Maybe if I can sort of just take a stab at answering your question. When it comes to scheduling automated posts, it really depends on the relevancy and how far into the future you do it. If Miami Vice did something today and you schedule it 3 weeks from now, there's no relevance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You missed that trend.
But I think the study was that, just in general, it was as low as like 50% decrease in engagement. I don't remember the specific study, the name of the study, but it's been done multiple times and it's been shown. But you can think about it, if like someone sends an automated message versus a real live person sending a message, are you more likely to reply?
Even though you have your scheduled tweets, it doesn't mean you can't go on like Nadeem is saying, and, oh, this is trending right now, which is what happened at the last event, where all of a sudden, YVR bloggers just went, so they're all just, so the automatic tweet system just goes on its own. It doesn't mean you can't go in and go on, okay, this is what's happening right now, and add another tweet.
That's actually,
So I was gonna say, I would add also, if you know you can't do it though, I think automated is better than zero tweets.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, in the scheme of your lifestyle,
But
right?
and you don't want them to, okay, it's exactly the same tweet, and it's going on 3 times a day,
Yeah.
the same thing. You have to craft it each way. So for myself with social vision, I have to have a headline for every time. And what I want is I want you to go to, basically get to my landing page and sign up for my service as a social media director. Anybody else? Warren?
I don't think everyone would consider social media marketing, but bus advertising, I do have that's my bus stop number, it comes up with different ads for different people. Have you had any experience with those?
With,
When I
Just
text in bus stop number, it comes up with the bus times,
yeah,
real-time bus times, and also has small after that, different skills.
with different ads. I actually, there's good remarketing with that within Google. They always put a cookie on your computer, so they know what you're looking at. So one time, I couldn't get the screenshot of it, so me and Rob aren't connected, but anymore. So I lost the screenshot that I wanted to use, which explains that. Because one night I was actually on YouTube watching a bunch of videos, and all these ads just coming up. And I'm clicking through, and all of a sudden, for the Canada Marketing Summit, this huge ad showed up. So I took a screenshot of it, and I posted it to Rob. And I said, Rob, check this out. They got me cornered, and right now, it is 2 in the morning. I'm listening to YouTube videos of Metallica right now. Look at the ad that's on the right. And I sent it to Rob. And Rob got back to me, and then actually the Canada Marketing Summit, when Rob spoke, he actually put it into his presentation without me even knowing. Then he was talking about exactly that, which is remarketing, and how they take the information off of what you're looking at and what you're doing and doing that. So when you're posting and going on to sites like BC Transit or TransLink or whichever it was, and you're doing that, and you go in, they know what you're looking at, so they're gonna throw those ads up, and that's happening everywhere now. You can't even really get away from it, it's really hard, and that's why in my ad section, that's if you really want an image that's gonna grab somebody, and you wanna have a border around it, so that when you're looking at the page, you're not seeing the other 4 ads that are in there, you're targeted on that one.
I saw, I was at the Canada Marketing Summit also.
Yeah.
And I saw Rob's talk on remarketing. And then I was at the Canada Investors Conference, and they made another comment about how the remarketing is starting to get creepy.
Yeah. Because
Scares people.
because they know everything you're looking at. It's
Yeah.
like I saw my niece looking, she was playing this game Animal Jam. Anyways, gonna make it real quick, time up. But because she's on YouTube so much and she's watching so many videos and playing the games that they're playing, those game companies and with YouTube and everything, they know exactly what she's looking at. So they're pumping more Animal Jam stuff at her. What was the other one? Pokemon? Farmville. All these games. And they're like, come on, come buy my stuff. Same thing with me on Texas Hold'em when I'm playing. They're like, oh, come on, buy more chips. Here, have a free prize. Do this. And it's all in the remarketing.
So how do we plan it? How do we plan it so we don't get creepy? We don't seem creepy, but we keep the message rolling
With
the
you mean with my ads themselves, or with your own ads?
Yeah.
Because we're not directly connected with YouTube and everything like that. We're not in the cycle of it, where you're dropping a cookie on someone's computer. Or Nadine can talk more on that than me. with ads and remarketing and all
Well,
that.
kind of
We'll be touching base on
it
that.
goes right into SEO.
Yeah. Nadine will cover it a lot better than I can explain it. Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, David, for those insights into social media. Obviously, that's one of the big ways to get your readership and your engagement, because your readers, your clients are going to be on social media. So if you're not, you're going to miss out on potential sales, potential readers, potential clients. So before Nadine comes up with his email marketing and SEO talk, I want to lighten it up here. You know, we've learned a lot of content. And my friend here, Kevin, he's a finance guy, and I think at the beginning someone said finance is boring. And I think you are too. But Kevin, he made that funny, so he actually has a whole brand called the Financial Comic. So he's married to unrelated things, comedy and finances. So he's going to do a little bit of stand-up comedy. At all my events, I kind of like to, lighten it up. I have some music. I sometimes have a magician, but I've never had a comedian. So looking forward to Kevin. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Ricky. How I met Ricky was at a serendipity tea party. I'm sitting next to him, and this daddy blogger, he takes my book and wants to trade books and all that stuff. So there's a gal, it was April Bellios, or I don't know what last name. She, Granola Girl, if you ever go into the IGA or Choices or whatever, there's granola mix, and so she runs a networking thing for ladies, and she thought, hey, might as well invite some of the guys around too. So I'm a financial planner, CFP. I've been in the business since '96, so that's about 18, 19 years. And I wrote a book called Financial Photographs, How to Talk to Your Family About Money, because when I grew up, money was not a conversation in our house. We got everything, but one of the reasons I remember is on my dad's 60th birthday, we had a reminiscent of his birthday and so forth, and the story came up about us going to McDonald's on payday Fridays and having a meal. But the one thing that reminded me of, what struck my memory, was because my dad always only had a cup of coffee. And the reason why he only had a cup of coffee, because money could only stretch so far, and that $3 or $4 before the Happy Meals. My mom was a good cook, or still is a good cook, and so he always went home to eat, and he just wasn't hungry. And secondarily, so that's where the financial comes in, because I'm always talking to clients over coffee about finances, Starbucks, chapters, all that stuff. And then, so that's the conversations, how to talk, because I think one of the main blunders in the world is the whole taboo of, don't talk about sex, money, or politics, right? But we also don't talk about money. Hopefully you do, but that's not my experience growing up. And then photographer, I was a pain in the butt to my mom growing up with photography. As Ricky can say, I'm his fill-in photographer. So photography was a bunch of pictures, so half the book is basically telling stories about pictures. So just to start off then, there's a lot of, in the area of health and so forth, there's a lot of stigmatism to, telling some disorders that you have and so forth. And I have something called OCD, obsessive comic disorder. And I thought today, everyone here would have something called OGD, obsessive blogger disorder. So go home, I challenge you to tell your friends that you went to this great thing, and I've been diagnosed with obsessive blogger disorder. And just see if there's any, funny pills that they'll try to give to you, right? Now, a little while ago, we're talking about TweetDeck, or we weren't talking about TweetDeck, but Twitter had a virus a couple weeks ago, right? You techie people? And it kept on re-forwarding things, and I thought, hey, when you're doing blogging and social media and everything, then viruses are pretty good, because that, to my definition, that would increase your clout score, right? Now, anybody World Cup fans here?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember when I was watching football, and I'll call it football because, European football, that when Ronaldo, anybody Portugal fans here? You're crying, are you crying right now? Okay. Anyways, Ronaldo didn't score enough goals, or they would have passed, right? So anyways, the announcer, you probably heard this before, Ronaldo has a score, he scores, goal! You heard that before? Anybody? Nod your head, just nod your head. It makes people up here feel really comfortable. So I thought that I, from the comic world, that I would say, Michael, Kevin Giebert is standing, this is you, okay? Kevin Giebert is standing up to the platform here. He's about to tell his joke. He's almost at the punchline. As Ricky is paying attention so diligently. He's at the punchline, and Ricky's going, is he going to be funny? Is he going to be funny? And all of a sudden, funny! Now, when I said that I'm a financial planner since 1996. So, I'm a money manager and so forth. So if someone like Ricky comes to me and says, hey Kevin, we want to sit down and have a coffee, talk about finances, right? He wants time for this too. Holy mackerel. And he says, Kevin, you have some experience. You've been doing this for 19 years and you know your stuff, so I'm glad that you're legal. So anyways, I'm a little bit of a fat, or I have some body fat on me. And when my dad was 60 years old, he lost 60 pounds for his birthday. And so I thought, hey, 42, but I didn't make it. I'm 43 coming up, so I'm going to lose 43 pounds. But you know what's the worst thing about having a little pain, little love handles? Is when you're taking off your shirt and your 3.5-year-old daughter stands to you and looks at you and says, Daddy, ladies are only supposed to have boobies. Now, who has a will here? Who has a will? Thank you very much. Do you know that it's very important to have a will? BC has changed Wills in Estate Succession Act, okay? Because you want to know someone who's going to pull the plug, right? If you want to pull the plug. Someone who is going to look after your assets, And also, if you can't look after yourself, if you're bloggers, wouldn't you want to have someone to know when you want to post your blogs? Now, 911 emergency numbers, right? 411 information numbers. But did you know that if you phone 711 on your phone, you'll get your Slurpee and your hot dog? Now, who had a flu shot around here? Flu shots? Years ago. Years ago, okay. Well, there was this this problem about, should I have a flu shot or should I not? So I thought, hey, what better person to ask than my pastor? Okay, pastor, man of the cloth, woman of the cloth. So I asked him, and he said, should I have a flu shot? And he said, no. So I thought, who would go against what a pastor says, right? Because he said, if you don't have a flu shot, that's great because the more you sneeze, the more you're blessed. Okay, anybody Olivia Newton-John before? Olivia Newton-John? Okay, let's get physical. Anybody like that song?
Yes.
I do sing, okay? But my version of that is let's get fiscal, fiscal, I want to get fiscal. Show me how your budget rocks. Your budget rocks. Show me how your budget rocks. Now, I went to bed one night and I had this great dream that I was stealing numbers. And I had this great dream that I was just funny. Everyone's standing up, applauding me. And then I woke up. Well, thank you. I woke up and my wife said, you're snoring, you're moving, you won't listen to me, you're being so irritable. Can you please go to the doctor for me? Just see what's going on. Okay? So I went to the doctor doing the husband thing. And the thing is, he diagnosed me with comic apnea.
With what?
Comic apnea. Now, I look at stocks throughout the year, right? And I thought, hey, what perfect stock? Because I look for stocks that have material changes, CEO changes, that sort of thing. So what better stock to look at recently is Lululemon. But the thing is, I'm not going to quit my day job because I don't think I would look like a CEO. Wearing spandex and everything to my, I look kind of cool, I think, wouldn't I, Elizabeth? Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Now, when I first started, I was called a financial planning, I'm a financial planner, so that I drove people places, okay? If they wanted to get married, I drove them to the altar, If they wanted to invest in their kid's school, I took them to their bank, most likely their vault these days. And if they were going to get divorced, I just drove them to the cleaners. Now, anybody have kids? You have kids, right? When's the last time you said Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star?
In the last few weeks.
Really? I work with kids, with parents with kids. Twinkle, twinkle, MasterCard, I always know where you are, up above the bill so high, counting air miles in the sky. And I do divorce too. So I deal with anger, okay? Shout, shout, let it all out. This is the debt I want to talk about. Come on. I'm listening to you, come on. And my last joke, okay? Half finance, half life, clean, but a little on the borderline, okay? Now, I have a 3.5 and a 6.5-year-old, okay? They come home and they ask the questions that you don't want to answer, the kid on the playground and all that stuff. So my son comes home and he says, Mom, somebody on the field was, what was this word? I'll spell it for you because I don't want to say it. F-U-C-K. Mom, what that's, no, seriously, what did, So there's, those questions, because the kid on the playground was saying the word, okay? You always go like this when you're kids, puck, So, he also asked, hey, Mommy, why does Daddy and you have the same bed? And my wife comes to think about it, and before she could say anything, oh, that's why I have my room, and Elena has her room, and we have a playroom. Because Daddy's room,
usually would be the playroom, right? So mommy and daddy have their own room. And then the next thing, because, you know, the birds and the bees. What about the birds and the bees? A grade 1, okay, ask him about the birds and the bees. Okay? So the way we explained it to him is mommy's the bird, daddy's the bee. Daddy stings mommy. But what he comes up with, he says, hey, I know why mom has an EpiPen now. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, that was awesome, Kevin. Really good. Let's give him another round of applause.
Can I do a little promo for Langara College?
Sure.
My wife does not think I'm funny, so she gave me the reason why I was doing comedy was I wanted, with my book out, I wanted to know how to write comedy into a 45-minute speech. It's called a keynote, that sort of thing. So it's kind of developed from there. But Langara College has something called stand-up comedy clinic. I think it's an adult extended. They have improv and all that stuff. $238. Tuesday nights for 6 weeks, and then you actually have your show at the end. Great program. And but anyways, that's kind of where I started from, and it's turned from that to me being able to go to yuck yucks and all that stuff and just do my thing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, super funny. I love it. And it was good just to change things around. So next up, we have some solid content again. We have our email art marketing expert and SEO marketing expert, Nadeem. He owns a company called Brand Frame, where he helps people create a brand online. So through branding, through logo design, through email marketing campaigns, and through search engine optimization. So let's welcome up Nadeem Ahmad from Brand Frame.
Nadeem, I'd like to return your applause for me.
Well, my name is Nadeem, as Ricky introduced. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been in marketing and design for about 14 years. Had my first business when I was 11. It was quite a venture. It was a sign company that my brother-in-law had started, and he got bored of it. He was like, you know, and it's a $1,000 machine, buy it, run it. And me being excited, I called it back then fast signs. Because I was so quick to doing what I was doing, and I'd spit up signs and go drop them off on my little bike, right? Later on, about 6 months into it, when I was making good allowance money, I got a letter in the mail from the company saying, well, this is a registered legal trademark, so you're not allowed to have that company anymore. So that's when my entrepreneurial spirit started, when I was 11, and I did it for about 2 years. It wasn't a bad gig. But from that experience, what I learned about design and using the tools and the technology, I evolved from there. I started working with a little bit with print. I did print media for about 3 or 4 years. I did some really high-end stuff for Louis Vuitton here in downtown. I did a couple of gigs for some of the events, some of the music festivals up in Squamish, etc. Currently, I have a couple of relationships with a lot of nice printing places, so I kind of end up, dabbling there still. It's fun. It's a whole different medium to experiment with, so it's great. And from print design, I got into web design because I was tired of driving around. Gas is getting expensive. My SUV, loves gas. So I decided, if I can leverage what the internet has, the accessibility that the internet gives me, I can take all that experience of using the software, the technology, the design, the branding, and the marketing, and sit at home and work. Right? Make phone calls, have Google Hangouts and that kind of stuff, and kind of evolved from there. Over the last probably about 2 years or so, I've been really kind of reinventing myself, trying to figure out where do I fit in, where do I really excel, where I can help other people build their businesses. And what I've come down to is a small little company called Brand Frame, which is I help businesses visualize what they want and measure out and pinpoint success milestones for them. And that starts everything from the user experience, from when a customer comes to the website from the very beginning. Grace did a very good job explaining all that stuff, so I'm not gonna, it's good because I don't have to cover all that, but you know, it talks about all that stuff and you know, how to be active in social media, like David also outlined. And then, you know, the SEO content, the material that is actually the core of a website. And then putting all that stuff together, I say, you know, how can we build a strategy? So I'm going to talk a little bit about SEO first, and I'm going to start off with a little exercise for everyone. So if you guys have like a pen and notepad and stuff, and maybe if you want to crack open your laptop and do a couple of things. Per se, SEO is not my focus. So if I do say something that's like, hey, it doesn't make any sense, so I just talked to a couple of my peers yesterday and I said, you know, I'm presenting this stuff on SEO, what do I say? So I put some notes together and I said, you know, we're all bloggers. We all have a certain, an even platform that we can actually have a conversation with our readers. So the content that we put in this stuff is also very valid when it comes to search engines. So for SEO, that's search engine optimization. Certain marketers will call it search engine marketing, where, you know, what David was talking about is if I'm, for example, on bestbuy.com or .ca and I'm browsing laptops, and then all of a sudden I decide to jump over to YouTube and watch a review about a laptop, and then I start seeing all these videos pop up about from Toshiba, from Acer, from all these other companies. Because what's happened there is the search engines recognize, you know, what's your activity for the last 20 minutes? What's your activity for the last 24 hours? And so you'd be surprised if you open up your Gmail account the next morning, stuff that you've been browsing for the last couple of days will start slipping in the headlines and you'll be able to, okay, you know, and that's all relevant marketing. That's exactly what retargeting is. So with the checklist, and this is something, because everybody has a blog post, right? That's where the starting point is. So these are a couple of things that you want to kind of have in the back of your mind when you're actually putting the blog post together. And this is where you'll be able to build the SEO assets that are required. So 9 things to do for every blog post. First thing you want to kind of keep in mind is, again, you know, who are you writing this for? Okay, and what type of problem are you trying to address? Okay. For example, if Ricky, you're doing a review on a stroller for, say, if you get an email from a recall from some company, it would be your best interest to leverage that media exposure and say, hey, you know, we got a recall on this stroller. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about. So you're addressing a concern that a lot of parents probably have. If it's a car seat, a stroller, you're addressing that issue. And now you know your immediate target is parents. Secondly, you're addressing that concern about, hey, I found this in the news, I thought I'd bring it to your attention. Automatically, what you're doing there is 2 things. If it's a major brand that has a recall or has that deficiency, you're leveraging their brand value to build readership in your blog. Now, when Ricky came up, when he started talking about parenting, because we all know he is thedaddyblogger.com, and that's his focus, fatherhood and parenting. So those are 2 keywords that are really, really dear to him, dear to his business and his blog. So think of that dream keyword, okay? You know, Elizabeth, in your circumstance, when you were explaining earlier, what I got out of what you write about is you break the ice for people. Because if people are always upping that level and experimenting with new things, what's the first thing that holds them back? It's fear.
Yeah.
So if you talk about fear consistently in your blog posts, that could be a really powerful keyword in all of your blog posts. Now, here's another thing that you might want to do. And when you're writing these blog posts, right, you don't want to be thinking about just the immediate post that you're writing. Okay? Think about the next 1 or 2 or 3 sets of blog posts that you're going to write. If one subject matter leads into the next, and the second subject matter would kind of lead into the third post, right? If I'm talking about financial planning, talk about, you know, the educational fund for my children, right? Then you talk about, the Wilson Estates or retail or, not retail, sorry, property investments and stuff like that. Something that'll build a foundation. And then in the third post, you can talk about retirement. So when you chronologically look at that whole process in the reader's mind, it's like, hey, it kind of goes together. So when you're thinking about these headlines, think about 1, 2, or 3 posts ahead. If you're going to write about blogging or color or design today, talk about user experience on the interface or something like that. Kind of lead it into that. Again, keep a really tight focus on that new keyword that you have. Make sure, see when it comes to search engines, the first thing they notice is the URL. Okay, the web address that you're writing. Now, how many people here are on WordPress? How many people are on Blogger? How many anything else? Okay, so when you do, on most themes for WordPress, when you actually write the title of your blog post, that ends up becoming the title of your URL. Right? And what that allows the search engines to do is build that relationship between what's on that page and what's in the URL. And if you're talking about a very specific topic and people are searching about those topics, that's where your ranking in the search engine will come up a little bit higher than most. And again, going back to this point, think of it when you're writing the first, the second, and the third blog post, not just one blog post at a time. A search engine, when it's looking through your page, it's going top down. So it starts from your URL, goes to your actual title of your page, and what is known as an H1 tag or an H2 tag. And those are the first, I think that's 128 characters of your page that Google actually really focuses on. Or for any search engine for that matter. So what you want to be able to write is an informative opening sentence. Gracie pointed out a couple of very good topics on some of the blog posts that are very specific. I can't remember any of them, but they're very specific to what the blog is about. So not only does that capture the attention of the reader, it also catches from the search engine point of view, when it comes to keywords. Now, when you have certain keywords, and I'll use financial planning for example again, when you're talking about educational plans, there's different rules and regulations, if I'm not correct, from different organizations. There's CST and there's a few other ones. Now, CST as an organization, they have their website, they have their blog. But if you highlight that keyword in your blog post and link it to their blog, or link it to their website, and make a comment in your blog and say, hey, if you want to get some more extra information about this organization, go to their blog, check it out. So what that does is when it comes to building links, think of it this way, kind of like, in the Amazon, when you have like all these piranhas, and there's that one fish just dropping and they go all crazy. That's kind of like what's happening with link building. So you're building all these links. What ends up happening from a search engine point of view, they'll say, hey, Ricky's blog is linking over here, which is a higher ranking blog or a website that gets more traffic and has more visitors, so that'll slowly bring up the ranking of Ricky's website as well. Again, linking to other websites and blogs. Now, when you are talking about like tags, and this is a very common term also in social media and Twitter, we were talking about hashtags earlier, it also applies to when you're writing a blog post. Okay? Certain themes actually aggregate your page. So what they'll do is it'll give you a certain percentage and say you've used the word fear in your blog post 8 to 10% of the time. So out of 100 words, you use that word X number of times. So what that ends up doing is it'll automatically add it to a tag or add a tag to that term. So these are certain WordPress themes that can do that for you. But usually what you can do when you just go to the right-hand column or the bottom of your actual blog post, you say what tags you want to add. Branding, consulting, design, email marketing, social media, finance.
Question, Can you add a tag, if you made a post, can you add a tag after you've posted it? Do you
Yes.
know? Yes, you
You
can. So
would
you
just,
go
you
back
would just go back in
and
and
edit
edit
it, and add a
edit it.
tag. Oh, okay, great, thank you.
And kind of just to give you, stepping back a little bit about linking to other blogs, sometimes what I do myself is I'll write my blog post, let it go a couple days, come back, and read it again. And if I use a term, Wikipedia is beautiful, okay? When it comes to using a term of, you know, say, the Vancouver Olympics, as an example, right? And I don't know much about it, I'm just mentioning it in my blog post. I'll go back and do a little bit of research, I'll go jump onto Wikipedia and see what they have, and then I'll go back to my post, edit it, and link it. Now what ends up happening there is, here's a blog post that was written a week ago, but now all of a sudden there's a couple of new extra links being, you know, are rising up in this blog post. Google will come back and visit it again. So what that, in Google's mind, that keeps your actual blog post a little bit more fresher than just leaving it alone. You also want to add images, you know, going back to Grace's presentation about how images are the engaging part of any blog post. You know, the term is very true, and every image is worth 1,000 words. And giving that perception, that image of what you're trying to communicate. When it comes to actually naming, the naming convention behind your images, what you want to be able to do is, if it is a Nestle water bottle, name that file Nestle_water bottle. And if you really want to get into real details, you can say 500 ml. Okay? So what ends up happening is, how many people use Google Images? Google Images. So when you search Google, you click on the Images tab, and all these cool things pop up, and hey, that's a pretty cool image, I can use that for my blog post, or whatever. But what ends up happening is, it's not searching, Google does not know what the image looks like. Okay? What Google does is it looks at the syntax of the file name, and says, oh, okay, it mentions water bottle. So you're searching water bottles, and all these pictures of water bottles start popping up.
What if the picture is 65432X05?
You would rename it.
Yeah. So you rename it in the Azure computer?
Yes.
Or you can transfer it into the...
Yes. For two reasons. One, it'll keep you sane at the end of the day, because when you go back to your computer and you want to search a certain image, you're not looking for numbers. Okay, you know, water bottle _ 500 ml. You can search it, and then at the same time, it'll save you the headache. See, what happens is, if you just upload the number, you're going to upload the number. You're going to have to go back to your library on WordPress, rename it, and then save it, and then go back and change it in your blog post.
Okay, so we have the picture on file on the computer. Change it there.
Yes.
What if you just changed it on your blog and you didn't change it in your...
If you change it, like if you went straight to the media library and changed the name, it would actually remove that image from your blog post. Because you're just changing the name of that image, right? So you want to make sure that the best way to do it, and for my own sake, because I have like 20,000 images on my laptop, but for my own sanity, I name it to the best possible description that I can.
Is there a reason you're putting the underscore?
Just so I can read it better. Because if it says,
Nestle water, you're in.
yeah, and 500 ml clear bottle, blah, 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 whatever the description is, right? The other thing is, when you actually upload an image, there's a thing called the alt tag. And what that is when you roll your mouse over the image and the little blurb shows up. That is also quite valuable when it comes to images and making that post search engine friendly. And that's my little speech on SEO. Yeah, on it.
Is there something that you have that's like SEO for dummies? That you can recommend?
Me?
Oh, okay.
You know what? The best way to do it, really, and I've learned much myself, is just by YouTubing it.
You guys all YouTube.
And you know what? The idea is, I'll be very honest, the idea is not to find an hour-and-a-half video long about SEO, because you'll probably fall asleep after 7 minutes. Okay? The idea is to find the short
to the point videos that are like 3 to 7 minutes tops.
If you narrow the focus, really focus your question, you'll pretty much find something that will answer that. If your search is too
Absolutely.
broad, you're not gonna get the results that you're looking for. The other thing I was gonna add is that, you didn't really talk about backlinking, you just talked about linking a little bit. But if you have any relationship with a .edu or .org, they have 10 times the value of any regular link or post that, or backlink that
Very
that you're getting. So that's really important. And in choosing the words, have you ever seen Market Samurai?
Yes, it is.
So, because that's a really valuable, like, you don't, it helps you to really figure out what your keyword should be, and it teaches you a sweet spot on how to really choose the words. But you keep saying, use them all over, but it gets boring. Like, if you're posting every day or every other day or whatever else it is, and you're trying to keep that keyword in, how do you keep your title catchy when it's always going to have your keyword in it? It then becomes much more formulaic. I know you're supposed to do it, but how do you keep something fresh when you're saying keep it in your H1 tag, keep it in your subtitle, keep it in your title, and and in your URL and in your blog? So.
Well, the beauty of technology, especially with WordPress, is everything that you just listed, it automatically happens when you actually type in your title. So the actual URL types out accordingly the H1 tag and the H2 tag. And you can manually actually tag certain keywords or certain sentences that you want.
Right, but if you're trying to make it fresh and catchy,
Yes.
something isn't catchy if your first 2 words are always passion and travel or fear.
Right.
And
What you want to do, what my personal suggestion would that be, is one is you want to structure a topic of a certain topic that you want to select. For example, if you're talking about travel, you want to say travel South America, right? Be very specific about, everybody knows it's travel. Where are you traveling? Okay, I'm traveling to South America. That'll be like your first blog post, right? And then your second blog post will be, my first 3 days in Peru, right? So you're still talking about traveling, you're still talking about in South America, right? And then your third post would be kind of like go along the lines of that topic matter that you're covering from the beginning, and then that'll keep your subject line fresh, but then you're also within the creative keyword that you're trying to find. Does that make sense?
yes in theory, but
Right?
I don't.
Because it's fresh content that you want to be able to provide.
Totally,
Right.
totally fresh.
So, like, if you're talking about fear, for example, there's different types of fear, right? Fear of public speaking, or fear of heights, or fear of, insects, or whatever. I was so scared about this insects. So when you're talking about fear, you're still talking about, being scared. But
But
you're
that's not
dancing.
but your keyword is fear. So scared is no longer your keyword. Maybe it's an alternate.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, even though you're using that one keyword, you can also use synonyms around it to drive traffic.
I have a question. Can you have multiple dream keywords that kind of...
That would be kind of like a keyword statement. Right. So it's like a long tail keyword.
Okay.
So it's like, I like blogging about fatherhood or parenting. So that whole sentence is your
Right.
keyword phrase.
But his keywords could maybe be like parenting, fathers, kids. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like for your blog, you can have a few different
Absolutely.
keywords.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
So
But aren't you really, you're then in competition, I know it's a subject of controversy, but then you're actually competing against yourself because those words are all related together. So you're competing for your place with against yourself. You're not building one clear, and I think Google punishes you for having too many keywords. I think that.
They do punish you
that-
if you have a higher percentage of keyword saturation. And see, just like social media and everything else, Google has also evolved. Okay, their latest version of their algorithm, nobody knows. If any SEO expert comes along and says, I know exactly what Google's all about, they're lying to you. Okay, you punch them in the throat for it too, because it's not true. Right? The truth is, everybody is, see, the audience, us, as bloggers, as readers, as writers, as designers, we're on the reactive end of it. Okay, Google makes all these decisions, they don't announce them. It's just the high-end professionals that are in SEO kind of get this twitch in the back of their head, say, that's different, and they blog about it, they talk about it. So we assume that this is what the algorithm is, and we kind of do our best to kind of work to figure it out.
They're saying that native search is going to be down to 1% pretty soon, which is pretty pathetic for us.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it's influenced by social media. So if you look at the actual, like the most recent algorithm that they've kind of deciphered is on your blogs or in any environment, a lot of it is about a question and an answer. If Google finds a question and an answer on a relevant topic on the same page, it'll get a better ranking than a blog post that just talks about random stuff.
Can you do me one favor?
Yeah.
Can you read out your contact information again? You seem to be missing a digit in your phone number.
Sorry, 7962. We have to fix that on the next slide.
So again, with this question and answer, are you saying that you have to have your dream word and within your dream phrase, and then you have to have your question and your answer, and that all has to be encapsulated within the first 120 or 160 characters
Usually
within the post?
yeah,
Does that include the name of the post? Am I understanding that correctly?
no, it would be the first 120 characters of your actual post.
Of the actual post, okay.
Because the title of your post actually ends up becoming a URL.
Okay,
And the one thing I've noticed from experience is the best way to start a blog post is with a question. If you understand that you're talking about a certain topic, you gotta understand when somebody's blogging about something or when they're researching on the internet, they're trying to solve a problem. So do you have bad photography, for example? Okay? You don't, right? But you're asking a question right off the bat. Or would you like to improve your photography skills?
Right.
That's an open question. And then the rest of your blog post would say, here's 3 ways you can improve your photography.
It's the same way with your social media and your profile and on your branches.
It has to do with just the marketing, because when you're starting your post, you're going to start with a body of research to begin with, so that you know who you're writing to. So it's all going to come consistent. You're going to stick back to that research because that research tells you who that reader is, who your audience is, and who you're always going to try to target.
And that's why SEO people, the guys that are really good, they get paid $10,000, $15,000 a project for that reason. And SEO isn't one of those things that we can just set up once and forget about it, because Google isn't a machine that is evolving on a regular basis. Okay, so I'm going to lighten it up a little bit because everyone's all looking at me serious. So I'm going to give away a book. Okay, this is by Dan Zarella. How many people know who Dan Zarella is? He is a scientist of social media. He's a scientist of statistics. Okay, and what he's done is he's the driving force behind a company called HubSpot. You know what HubSpot is? Okay, and his book is called Zarella's Hierarchy of Contagiousness. It gives you ideas and ways to come up with creative stuff. Okay, so here's my question. What are 2 things Ricky is very passionate about?
His kids and his wife and his family.
And his family.
Yoo-hoo!
They yell it up, eh? And there's more to come.
bad, boring side. Okay? Email marketing is what I love. And the reason being, and I think somebody mentioned in the very beginning, is the money is in the list. But you know what? If you have a list and you don't know what to do with it, you ain't gonna make no money. Right? So, there's a couple things that I do as a consultant when I work with clients and I do for my own list. And some of the companies that I, side gigs with, taking their list from 1,000 readership up to 30,000, 40,000 plus. And what this allows you to do in a very short sentence, if email marketing is done properly, it allows you to put one hand on the reader's heart and the other hand in their wallet. Okay, and hopefully that makes sense. So, a lot of people have a misconception about email marketing that it's spam. It's not. Okay? If you have people that are on your list, if you have people that are subscribing to what you have to offer, the knowledge base that you're sharing, the videos that you're sharing, all that kind of stuff, they are there because they want to be there and they actually went through the whole process. Okay? Hopefully everybody has a squeeze page or a landing page on their website where you're offering them something and it's like, oh, this is what you'll get. Now you have a name and an email address, and that's where your relationship building starts. Okay? And just before I get into that, if you look at any of the world leaders in history, good or bad, okay, for them to do what they've done is built the trust in people. Agreed? They've built that relationship with people. And it's weird, okay, but the first name that came to my head was Hitler. Okay? He did something, he probably did the most atrocious things in history, but whether you call it brainwashing, whether you call it mental torture, but he earned a select group of people their trust and got to do what he did. Agreed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guess what? That's exactly what email marketing is, but we're not going to take over the world. Okay? Again, it's permission-based marketing, so you have their permission. Now, how many people are aware of the new laws that are changing on the 1st?
Yes.
I heard the same thing, but I don't know the content.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. There's a difference between the Canadian laws and the American laws. Okay, the only example I can give you, because I personally haven't really given my whole 100% into looking into it myself. One thing is for sure, okay, July 1st is the date that they're implementing it, the legislation, but companies actually have up to 90 days to reach out to their audience and send them confirmation to opt out or re-opt in back into their mailing list.
What if
So-
you're not a company?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's only $1 million fine instead of 10 million.
So,
No, it's the truth, it's not a joke.
Yes.
so everyone right now is sending you letters about the fact that they want to know if I'm going to opt in or opt out. So do I have 90 days now to do that to my whole mailing list?
As of the 1st.
I have 90 days from the 1st to set up a campaign and just a little cover letter saying, excuse me, but the laws are changing.
And it's a good thing to do because it tells your audience that you're aware of the laws that are changing. So all you can say is, we've had a pleasure to have you on our list, we have a relationship, but in case if you feel that our subject matter or topics are not relevant to you anymore, you have a big green button that says at the bottom that says opt out. And it's kind of hard to read, so what I've actually done is I posted in the blog mastery group. You guys can take a look at it. But what it basically says on a laptop. In the very front, you have Facebook, 750 million accounts, 60 million daily activity. Okay. On the second column, you got 300 million accounts for Twitter, 140 million tweets a day. Check this out: 2.9 billion email accounts. Okay, and 188 billion messages. How many people can figure out why is it like that? Why is the email has such a huge take on it?
The people are connected to value and content that people want and the information that's out there.
Absolutely.
Also because people have multiple email accounts for different things.
Yes.
So.
So you say that 2.9 billion email accounts, 180 billion messages a day?
Yes.
So you're talking about 60 email messages every day everybody gets.
Give and take. I got 1,200 in my emails.
Well, you don't want to see mine. I have,
So I'll explain that to you guys in a second though. So the 10 do's, and I think I only have like 5 minutes left. 7? Thanks. So here are my top 10 things that I do when it comes to actually putting a campaign together, putting some content together. First off, right from the very get-go, Ricky mentioned this in the beginning, if there's anything I could do that I could change differently, start a list. Okay? Once you have an AWeber account, an iContact account, constant contact, mail, I don't recommend MailChimp, but anyways, any of those email marketing accounts, tell as many people as you can. Okay? If you are, it's kind of hard to read it up there actually. So, think about your email footer. When you're sending out emails from your personal email, hey, if you want to check out some more information, check out this. And it could be a link to a squeeze page that says, hey, 10 tips on branding, check it out. And it's free, it doesn't cost you anything.
Are you going to send this as a slide share?
I will share it in the group.
Thanks. Then I don't have to.
I should have said no, because
Yeah, even on your own blog and social media posts, keep it as a staple. So people know that you have a place to go to opt in to get that name and email address.
And the
Okay.
reason for not recommending MailChimp, you just don't like
The
it?
customer service is horrible.
It is free too.
Also, isn't when your
For a certain-
computer is off, that, isn't there something that MailChimp, when your computer is off, that it's not transferring it, that's one of the reasons it's less expensive?
The only reason it's less, well, I'm not sure about that challenge. And I think one of the reasons is that it's, their support is all email based on the free accounts. And the free account is only up to 2,000. Now, as an advanced strategy, if anybody wants to get free clients and set them up with something that's not going to cost them anything, set up a free account, set up a squeeze page for your client, get them 2,000 email addresses, and export that content into a professional program. So that way you can generate leads for them, or for yourself for that matter.
Like professional program,
AWeber, Constant Contact, iContact. I recommended Ricky AWeber, and I recommend AWeber all the time because of their customer service. They have live chat support, they have email support, they have telephone support. The account managers at AWeber will not get off the phone until your issue is resolved, and I think that's beautiful customer service.
they also did a big reconfiguration too there. Was it
Yeah, they
months
re-
ago?
They redid the
added
whole
a whole bunch of new stuff. I gotta go relearn it.
Okay. Now, again, going back to this comment that's been brought up a few times with Grace and with Dave, is about knowing your audience. Identify what their needs are, identify how you can fulfill those needs. And that's where I said in the very beginning, I'll allow you to put one hand on their heart because you're addressing their problem, and one hand in their wallet because you're actually giving them a solution.
Which is the one that said up to 2,000 mail cards?
MailChimp.
No.
Yep. So what you want to do is right from the get-go, there's one thing is actually collecting email addresses. How many people have a mailing list that they've collected email addresses? How many people have an autoresponder set up with those email addresses? Okay? See, that's where the action happens. When Dave got up here and the first thing he said is to take action. Getting a name and an email address is only 10% of the work. 90% of the work is done by your autoresponder. And if you do it right, if you have a sales pitch in mind, a sales process in mind, you can be getting sales on a regular basis, just based on your autoresponders, the way they're set up. Okay? When you're actually composing your emails, when you're talking about talking to people, okay? Especially if you're coming from a social media standpoint, a lot of people ignore the fact that they have access to so much information about people, about their habits, about their consumer behavior, that they can add this kind of content into their emails, into their content. What kind of career do they have? What kind of, if you're targeting parents that work from home, entrepreneur fathers, and we know, as entrepreneurs, it's a lot more challenging to work, change diapers, keep a schedule, make a meal, and then get blogging. Yes?
That's why I blog between 10 p.m. and midnight.
Well, this guy's always up to date,
so
so. And that's the point, right? So you want to be able to understand that. So when you're sending out a mailing, a blast to your clients, what kind of lifestyle do they live? what kind of language are you using? If it's some surfer dude in California, you're like, hey dude, how's it going? As opposed to Mr. Sir, in condolences to this message, you'd like to send, you'd be like, I ain't reading this. Because it doesn't jive with that lifestyle, it doesn't jive with that personality. And again, you want to think long term. When I mentioned earlier in the SEO content is, think 1, 2, or 3 blog posts ahead. And you're starting from one topic, lean it into the next, Email marketing is just the same. When you are creating a campaign, let's say it's a set of eight emails that's an autoresponder, you start from the main topic, you talk about what you have, talk about some of the pain points, talk about why you're better and how you can help, and then send them a pitch. Okay? I'm sorry I'm just ripping through this because I got like 30 seconds in there. Combine strategies, right? Leverage technology and effectiveness of multiple platforms. Okay, when you're using Aweber, again, Aweber, is you can plug it into WordPress. You can plug it into LinkedIn. You can plug it into Twitter. So every single time when you send out a mail blast, a small little link gets posted on your Facebook, on your Twitter, and on your LinkedIn profile that says, hey, Nadeem just sent out an email, this is the topic, this is what it's about. You can read the full email message here. Now what that allows you to do, it gives you time to do your nails. Okay? It gives you time to chill out with your time. Why? Because it's an automated process. Okay, one of the reasons why a lot of people are probably hesitant about setting up this technology, one is fear, and second is the fact that they don't understand how they can leverage that technology to work in their favor so they can save time and money. Okay? One great thing Ricky did with the whole 10 Days of Fatherhood was Rafflecopter. Nobody has used Rafflecopter, and if you're selling a product or a service or you want to do a viral campaign, fantastic tool and it's free. Okay? Rafflecopter. So what that allows you to do is, if you're entering a campaign and you want X number of entries into a draw, say tweet this event, blog about this event, post or share a comment about this event, and you get multiple entries into the same draw, increasing your chances of winning. Okay? Build on value. Okay? Marketing is being able to learn, understand, and deliver on the needs of a customer. Okay? Now, going back to what I said earlier, is if you can identify, I have a horrible blog. Can you please help me fix it? Now you know that I have a challenge, that I have a horrible blog. So in your email, you're going to say, are you facing these challenges? I can help. Here's a link. Okay? And it'll be a product or service that you're going to sell. Now the fact that you're taking that time out of your day to recognize those challenges, you have a headache? I gave you some time now. That's a conversation, but I'm also pitching a brand. I'm also pitching a product. I'm also pitching a sale at the same time. Okay? If you're trying to get more readers for your personal development, what kind of challenges are you facing? This is how I can help. Okay? You can share stories. I had this other person, they had challenges with focus. I helped them like this. Share that case study. Share as much knowledge as you can. With email marketing, with social media marketing, the number one advice I can give everyone is try to be as transparent as possible. If you do something stupid, if you say something wrong, people will eat you alive. Okay? When it comes to statistical information and all that kind of stuff, do your homework. Okay? Give up your best advice first. I talked to a chef not too long ago. I said, why don't you share your best recipe? No, because then my restaurant will go down. No, it won't. Why? Because a lot of people don't have that time. They're not going to go home and experiment with all these little ingredients and try to figure it out. They're like, I just want to know what's in it. So I can come to your restaurant and enjoy it. I'll pay you for it. So same idea. When you're trying to give somebody a strategy, you're trying to teach them some yoga or whatever. You say, here, try these poses at home. If you're having challenges, come to my studio and I'll help you. To build that relationship, address those needs. Start a dialogue. Ask a question by making a bold statement. And in some cases, I'm part of a list. Okay, I have this other thing. And I'm stopping for one second. I have another email account. It's called marketmyjunk@gmail.com. And I have about 3,000 or something like that emails in it for a reason. So when I'm doing research for a client, I'll go to multiple different websites and I'll just opt in for the help. I want to see that experience. I want to see what happens when I receive the first email. What happens? What am I reading? What am I covering? So
if you guys are in that industry where you guys are sharing knowledge, where you guys are sharing information, do that. But don't get lost in the glimmer of the shiny thing, okay? Because that's horrible. What you want to be able to do is learn from other successful email marketers. Read what their subject lines are. I have a 1,200-1,300 email addresses just in the first part of Gmail. I only read or open or click through subject lines that catch my attention. Everything else is, I don't care. And as you start doing that, when you start writing about your own blog, when you start doing your own mailing list, you can actually see those things. You'll start picking up on those keywords. I had one client that had a horrible open rate on their mailing list. I sent out an email blast, subject line was 3 letters, oops. Got the highest open rate. It created that curiosity, like what happened, right? You know, some of the subject lines can be questions. What are you scared of this?
So someone's sending you an email, and you liked it, so you forward it to this special little address that you have for all the files.
Sorry, say that one more time.
No, he signed up for.
No, I have a junk email account that I use.
Yeah, oh, so you just use it and then they send you the pitch that
Yes.
way. Okay, got it.
Okay. I'm going to talk about what Grace was talking about, branding. Okay, we got to understand that anybody's computer screen is a canvas. And if anything looks out of place, it'll get in the middle of your message. Okay, so it's very key to make sure that your consistency of where your logo should be, the consistency of the colors, the consistency of the font that you use, and those messages are consistent through all your campaigns. Now here's the thing. If you really want something different to happen, like intentionally, do something different and you'll notice that there's going to be a different reaction to that email. It'll be very obvious when you get into the details of it. Another thing, if you send me an email every day, or once a week, and I'm reading your messages, and all of a sudden I get this email that looks a little fishy, that disturbs my trust. So if you have that consistency will build that trust. I used to work at eBay once upon a time, and the multiple numbers of fake email websites that used to go up were ridiculous. We used to actually shut down about 60 websites a day. Okay, and in that span of 24 hours, the people or the culprits that were behind that used to walk away with $10,000, $15,000 easily. But there used to be that one little quirk. We used to find it. A certain link doesn't work, or a certain pixel is out of place, or the logo's off color. We used to figure it out and then report them to the highest level of authority, which is usually the U.S. government. The core purpose of any marketing, email marketing, is obviously to generate a revenue, generate an income. Okay. So a lot of people think, well, gee, if I'm doing all this email marketing, I don't know if I should be selling anything. That's probably the biggest mistake you can make. Okay, if you start selling or pitching offers from the get-go, that conditions your reader's mind to expect a sale. If not today, everybody's circumstances here are different, they change. Okay? And through the course of life, if you have a product today from me, Deborah, and I don't need it, 3 weeks later you send me an email and say, you know what, that makes sense, I'm going to buy it. So that relevance, the fact that you pitched it to me 2 weeks ago, I didn't need it, but 3 weeks later I needed it, guess what, you just got yourself a sale. Okay? And again, at the very bottom, I got, if the value or the need is high enough, they will buy. Okay, the last point, I think I'm over time, but is to segment your list. Okay? If you send everybody the same message, you're going to kill your opportunity of building relationships. Okay? If I like to wear Air Jordan tracksuits and all of a sudden you send me something on Adidas, I'm probably not going to buy that product because I don't care about Adidas. I'm an Air Jordan fan. Okay, just to kind of give you an example. If you really talk about certain niche markets, for example, financial planning, because it's easy to pick on, is that if you're addressing a family that has no children, for example, okay, it's just a couple, they just got married, they just moved in, got the first mortgage, there's no point to you sending them something about CST, correct? But if you have a mailing list and you send everybody the same message, that weakens your grip. The core purpose of sending out a message to a specific group
is that reader has to feel as if that message was written for them. Okay, and that's what's going to bring in the sales. That's what's going to bring in the revenue that everybody is.
And to pop on that, is that how are you, what strategies do you use for me to know that when they say kids, they mean cats, not kids?
See, here's the thing. Every email that you send out, okay, if you write it properly and structure it properly, it's a survey. Okay? I'll give you an example. If I am reviewing soda pop, for example, for Pepsi, for PC Cola, and say Coke, okay? I'll write a brief paragraph about each brand, and I'll have a link to that specific company or that specific page. This could apply to anybody and everybody. Okay, if you're talking about yoga, you're talking about consulting, you're talking about web development, whatever it is. Now, the number of people where you get the highest number of clicks, that's where you know that's the direction that you want to take your marketing in. Okay, if you're thinking about releasing a new jewelry product, for example, what you want to do is showcase to your audience, I have this style and I have this style. Which one do you guys like? Whichever style gives you the highest click-through is the one that you want to actually pay for to get built or get made. That'll save you a lot of money when it comes to guessing, because you can pay for both products to come out, and naturally you'll get the same results. But with email marketing, when you're sending out that email, you're getting that information before you place the order. Hey, stick to your guns, guys. When it comes to actually marketing, when you're passionate about something, don't be afraid of the 1% rule. I hate it when customers and clients and people are like, I got 3 emails and they don't like me. I'm not going to do it again. You can't do that. What you want to be able to do is, if you're talking about a specific style of writing, for example, stick to your style. Why? Because you want people that can relate to you. You don't want to bend over backwards for people that don't even care what you're saying. Those are people that are not even going to buy your products and they're not even going to relate to you. So if you stick to your guns and keep that consistency going, if you pick that idea of breaking the ice, experimenting or growing as an individual, stick to that. People that like that kind of lifestyle, they'll come to you. You're not going to be chasing people. Okay? Last but not least, email marketing communication is a tool that empowers you as a blogger, as a writer, as a person that has a website. Learn more about your readers, be directly involved in their lives, help them make ethical, sound decisions, and make a good living doing it. Okay? Last but not least, we have an email marketing bootcamp coming up. And what we are going to be doing, myself and my guest star, Ricky, will be there, is we're actually debating if it's going to be here or in maybe a little bit of a bigger facility. But what we're going to be able to do is I'll be walking you guys through the whole process from the beginning all the way to the end, where you actually have your autoresponder set up, a sales cycle set up, where you can actually, go in and just focus on what you love doing. I'll give you an example. I have a client of mine, she's a doula. Anybody know what a doula is?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Saves me the explanation. But she's an individual that is a part of a woman's life 12 months at a time, from beginning to birth. Okay? And she changes clients like that on a regular basis. In her first consultation, she would spend 45 minutes explaining what she does. She's getting paid for it, not a problem, but she's spending that time explaining every meeting over and over and over. So what do? You set up an email autoresponder that says, hey, this is what I do, this is how I work, and this is my process for helping build or go through this transition in life. Right? Childbirth is not easy, etc., etc., etc. So when she actually goes to the physical face-to-face meeting, that extra 45 minutes, she's spending building that relationship. How are your kids? Do you have other kids? How's your husband? How are things going? How is home? Are you working? Are you on mat leave? All that other stuff. As opposed to explaining this is what I do for 45 minutes. Helps. Okay? So these are the things that we're going to talk about. Basic list building, tools and options, the opt-in process, the first campaign, setting up autoresponders, identifying opportunities, monetizing your list, follow-ups and referrals, social and blog integration, analytics, and post planning. I apologize, I'm going at like 300 miles a minute because I think my time was up like 20 minutes ago.
We have lots of questions.
No, we gotta wrap up soon, so.
So, it's a 6-hour workshop, okay? And when I talked to Ricky earlier, and I said, well, gee, you know, I charge X, and Ricky's like, no, you gotta be nice to my people. And I said, okay. So, it's gonna be $100, $97 for everybody today, okay? And you also have a chance to win a tablet. Okay, and there's a draw in there, and I'm going to be putting in there for Lenovo 7 and 16 gigabyte Android. We're going to win a tablet, and there's going to be a lucky winner in this room somewhere. So I did post a PayPal link on our Blog Mastery group. Okay, if you guys want to register later on today, I can do that as well.
You don't have a date.
Sorry?
You don't have a date.
The date will be confirmed, but I believe we agreed on August 17th? No, 16th, which is a Saturday.
Question, who likes this venue here to use for future workshops?
Yes.
Very good.
The only-
August 16th.
Good venue.
Okay?
But just to go back to the one thing that Kevin talked about again, is about this castle. Because it's really, everything that you're talking about, people need to really think about this. Is there a place to go to find the standard form?
There is a, in regards to the actual castle.
Yeah, that you would send out to.
Okay, there is something I posted on the bloggers, YVR bloggers page. And it's a very one-page, short, to the point explanation of what it is. Okay? So again, another book draw, and then I'm done. Okay, so a book draw, and 3 things that Grace mentioned about branding. Sorry, you're excluded.
6-second rule, visual pleasing, and
Don't you know?
the action colors for your.
Thanks for giving me the time to get through that.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Let's give him a round of applause for tonight. Yeah, see, as you can tell, Nadeem knows the stuff. I recommend we sign up for this course. Just come up here and sign up with him. We're gonna pause for a break here, but I know Guillermo's kind of been sitting there kind of lonely, so I'm just gonna give him a minute to share what he does. Then we're gonna have a networking break and a washroom break, and then we'll do video vlogging. So Guillermo, let's quickly start with you.
So we just created a company called Dyer, and I'm going to start with a question. It has been said over and over again today. What is the most important thing that you have to produce on a user for your blog to be successful? Engagement, right? How do you get engagement? How do you manage to get engagement? How do you bring those users to your blog and get them to engage with your blog? Through social networks. So, and why is that important? Because it brings emotion and it allows you to understand your users. You know what the users are interested on with your blog. So what we do is we make your blog a social event. We allow them to do inline annotations, comment, exchange messages with each other with your content in your blog, not somewhere else, on top of the page. So you're able to see what they write about, what they're interested about. And they are able to send that to the social networks. So everybody knows about it, and they come back to your place. So that's what we do. So if you're more interested, just talk to me, and I'll show you how. To install it is just one line of code, and it's $0.
Wow.
That's it.
Awesome, yeah. He's been kind of sitting over there, so make sure you go talk to him at the break. So you guys.
Can you just give him all of our email addresses so he can send us a link?
He can put the link on the Facebook group. I don't want to be sending out a whole bunch of emails.
Yeah.
Like from every speaker.
Right?
Yeah. So if you're interested, the speakers are going to put their workshops on. We have a private group just for this, graduates. And we also have a YVR bloggers group, which is separate. But the graduates group for Blog Mastery have a private Facebook group, which you can post a link to.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, so make sure you talk to Guillermo. Make sure you sign up with Nadeem. Make sure you go to the washroom so you can, and make sure you get a tea and coffee as well. So see you in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.